Hi everyone, it's Reverend Angie Gage here, and I'm going to show you today the start of some things for our community garden. And I'm also going to be working on my growing skills of keeping things alive by planting a microgreen garden for inside. Today I'm just going to do some microgreens and some herbs. Anyway, first I want to tell you some of the things I've got for us to plant in. This is probably going to be very interesting. I'm hoping you can see what it is. These are K-cups. They've been emptied and cleaned, and you know, while some of them are recyclable, a lot of our recycle centers won't accept them. So to me, it's a great thing to start some smaller seeds in that we might need. Also, another thing is I've got here, it's from a drink. I've got holes poked in the bottom for drainage. I also have, whoops, I've got something in there. I also have a tin can. Now here's the thing, not the best situation to grow in, so one thing I have learned is the best way to water is from the bottom up. So we're going to use this tin can, and you can take a Ziploc baggie. It doesn't have to be brand new, so you know, after you've used one, just a gallon size for this size can, after you've used it, just wash it out, let it dry really well. Then you can put it inside there so that it will hold the water, but the rust, as if the can starts rusting, won't get in there. And then you can set that inside. I just cut it to where it will be at the top of the tin can. There are also grow bags. These just happen to be 5-gallon grow bags. I've got two different kinds. This one is the LA Garden Planter. It's a 5-gallon. And this one is from Callie Kim. Callie Kim, gardenandhome.com. I've been watching her videos to learn how to do a lot of gardening, and I've learned so much. Y'all, it's worth finding her on YouTube to be able to do that. We're not going to use those today. And I also have bought her book, Organic Gardening for Everyone, because what we're going to try to do is make sure that we are doing organic gardening and not using pesticides and things like that. So I'm just going to set those to the side so I have more room here. I'm going to set this off to the side. I've also learned from Callie Kim that you can use containers that you have left from like little things, but the thing is there's no holes in for the water. So I don't have an ice pick, so I've just found what I have at the house, and I'm just gonna poke a hole in with the cutter, the box cutter, and then just to make sure there's enough water getting inside, I'm gonna destroy this one, it looks like it. I've got this, and I'm just gonna find where I cut. Let me pick this up and just go through it with this and make sure that there's definitely a hole there, because I don't want my stuff to dry out. And this is putting a nice little hole in there if I can find where I cut. There we go. But I didn't have anything else like an ice pick, so you would do that to your items. And of course you need soil. I also have some, these are kind of interesting. I thought I was buying pots, but they're not pots. They're just little paper-like things almost. But when you're doing it for transplanting, these actually will degrade in the soil, so you can use those, and then I don't have to worry about pots. I've got some white containers here that once I get my microgreens planted in these, I'm gonna put them down in here because 4 of them fits very well down inside the container, but I still have to poke holes in the others. So I'll be doing that as we go. In fact, let me just go ahead and do that right now so that it's all done and ready to go. They're still a little wet from when I washed them, but that's okay. I'm gonna drop them all, it looks like it. I'm just gonna make some holes here. I'm probably not doing this the safest way. Do not cut these the way I am. Find an ice pick. I think that would be much better. As long as I don't cut myself. I think if I'm going away from me and away from my fingers. That's the important thing, because I'm really good about burning my fingers, cutting my fingers, things like that. So, oh, this one I already have holes in. Haven't cut this one. So I'm just gonna, whoa, that's a really big cut. I just needed it to go in just a little bit to make that beginning spot for my hole. So there's that. Now I'm gonna make sure that there is a little bit of a hole there to make sure that water is getting in. Those of you who know me know that I have always said that I have a brown thumb because I tend to kill my houseplants. I have one plant on my porch that has continued to live for years. It's a rosemary plant. And this is what I learned about rosemary. Rosemary just continues to grow no matter what. So I think it likes that I forget that it's out there. And it's sitting where it gets sun and it gets water from the rain. Okay, so starting with the microgreens. Now we can use gardening gloves if we want. While I'm in here, once my hand dries off, I'm just gonna put these gloves on because it's just gonna make it a little easier for me right now. One thing I've learned is you want a good potting mix. So I have found a good potting mix. I actually have a bigger bag here in case I need it. And I'm just gonna cut that open and I'm gonna dump it in this. I don't have a bucket. Well, I have a 5-gallon bucket. It's outside because I had my compost in it that I needed to put in my composter, which thank you to Vince Duncan for putting my composter together. My composter is now outside and all of my compost materials are in there and ready to go, and they're hopefully making compost right now. We added some more stuff to it today. So now I have soil, and some of you have heard me when I've been talking about my compost stuff, because I compost my coffee grounds, that after a while it starts smelling really earthy. I love that earthy smell. I also don't have a watering can. So I've just got some water in here because what I have learned from watching the videos and all the reading that I'm doing is that it's best if your soil is already a little, I might not need these, we're gonna see. It's best if your soil is already a little wet as you are planting your seeds, because it helps them. And then you're not dumping the water right in on top of your seeds. But Callie Kim always says, make it look like crumbly brownie mix. So I'm gonna add some water here and just mix it up. You can see it's starting to kind of look a little different. I didn't put a whole lot of water in there because I don't know how much to put in yet. My glasses are falling off, so I'm gonna move them over to the side for a minute. I'm gonna add some more water. And here's the good thing, if I get it too wet, I'll just add some more soil. So mixing it up, and I might have to just get in there with my hands. But there it is. It's looking like what she says, crumbly brownie mix. So I think I've got that right. Yay, first thing, getting it right. And now I'm gonna do my microgreens. So I'm gonna use this for my microgreens, and I'm gonna put some soil in here. And those of you who don't know what microgreens are basically just the beginnings of many of the plants that we have. You can then cut off the tops and use them in salad. So there's my first one. Let me get my next one going here. Fill that one. I'm kind of excited. This is my experiment for microgreens. And then here in a minute, we're also going to plant some lettuce, because you can grow lettuce inside in the winter time. You might have heard my cat. My cat's roaming around trying to figure out what's going on. He seems to like the tripod that my phone is on to film this. Just gonna kind of, I'm not packing it down. I just want to kind of make sure it's filled up to the right spot. Yeah, there he goes again. He's a meowing. And plant this in just a minute. I'm sure if he got up here, he would be very interested in digging in the dirt. He's trying to get up here. I'm not going to leave the plants on this table. I have this table set up just for me to be able to plant on. I'm going to put them on my kitchen counter. And for some of the things, I'm going to have them under a grow light. Now, I've got to get my glasses on. This is the microgreen seed collection that I bought from Callie Kim. She is out in California. Check her out on YouTube. She's got such great videos. And I'm not going to be planting everything in these. There's arugula and ruby queen beets and red chard, Triton purple stem radish, giant red mustard greens, Waltham broccoli, Russian red kale, and red express kale. So I only have 4 containers right now. So obviously I can't plant all of these because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got more containers, but they have things in them. So I can't use them yet. But we're gonna start this off. I'm gonna take these off so I can actually feel the seeds. I thought the gloves might be good, but probably not. I'm going to do one with some Triton purple stem radish. Now, we're not going to grow this to the point that a radish appears, because the idea is you're just cutting the greens and using the greens, and you don't have to worry about how close they are, because you want it to be kind of full, so you get greens. And one thing that I thought was really great that I learned is that your microgreens will be ready in about 7 to 10 days. I'm gonna put just a couple more in there. Okay, that's more than a couple, but that's okay. But they'll be ready in about 7 to 10 days, and then you can start adding them to your salad. So I was really excited about that. Now, I do not have a thing to show what it is. So hang on just a minute. I'm gonna jump over here into the kitchen real quick so I can grab something. I have a dry erase marker in here. And we're gonna hope that my dry erase marker works. But as I put them into this, I'm gonna say that this is the red radish. I'm just gonna write it on here because it's dry erase. And I bought these tubs just for this purpose. So there's the red radish. I'm just gonna set it in here for right now before I put the rest of the dirt on the top. So I can go ahead and get these, the rest of these planted. Put that back in here. And I think what I'd like to do is do the giant red mustard greens. I think that should end up pretty cool. Now these seeds are really tiny. I know it's hard for you to see, and they're really tiny. So I'm just gonna, you know, maybe I'll regret this. I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle them out of the package there onto the top. We're gonna be covering it with soil, and there's still a ton of seeds in here. So I'm gonna do that. And I really, oh, let me put the, this is the, see, I've already forgotten. It's the giant red mustard greens. So I'm gonna write, I'm just gonna put G-R must, so I'll know what they are. Okay, so there's those. My cat is trying to play with me. I think the next thing I'll want to do, I want to do the red chard, however you say it. These seeds are a little bit bigger, thankfully. I'm not going to use them all because here's the thing, they might be ready in 7 to 10 days, but it, you know, after 1 to 2 cuttings off of here, I'll have to plant them again. So I'm just going to plant, I'm going to get a few more in here because I think It just needs a couple more, maybe one there. So this is the red chard. And I'm gonna put red, I'm gonna put R-C-H-A-R-D. There we go, I'm gonna put that right there. And these are just fitting perfectly in here. I don't wanna turn it up too much. I don't know, I think you can see them. And I wanna do one more. So I still have arugula, red express cabbage, ruby queen beets. Let me do the, I need to put the red chard up. Let me do the red Russian kale. No, I have a lot of red in there, don't I? Let me do the Waltham broccoli. I mean, it's not gonna grow into broccoli. It could, but I'm gonna cut it as a microgreen. And these are some small seeds, not as small as the other seeds were. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them over this. Get enough in there so that when they grow, I've got enough seeds to have greens for a salad. I'm not putting all of those in there. So I'm gonna put these back in the bag. If any of you live locally and you are handy at making things, we are needing for our community garden, we are needing somebody to build a workbench, and it'll be outside. So it has to be something that can work outside. This table is actually too low to be able to do that. This table we bought so that when I've got the plants, I've got everything I need to get all of our plants started, that we will be able to have out on my back porch. We will put out there all of the seeds under grow lights. And I just forgot what I put in here. Waltham broccoli, brock. See, that's why you have to have something with them on there, because you might forget what it is you're planting, and it kind of helps to know. So now I've got them all in there, but I can't just leave them like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use my hands. It's gonna get kind of nasty, but you don't have to put a whole lot of soil over the top of them, just a little bit. So I'm just covering it to make sure that all my seeds are covered. A little bit more in the corners, because that way, you know, they do have the protection on the top. So there's the mustard greens. I'm gonna take care of the red radishes now. I've said that the new thing is with me working with dirt, my fingernails are gonna be dirty and I'm gonna lose my fingernails. I work really hard to keep them somewhat decent looking, but here's the thing I promise for all of our church members: you won't have to worry about the soil under my fingernails during communion. That's a promise I make to you. So now I'm gonna put a little more on here and get that just lightly covered so that it's all protected. Spread that out a little bit. I can see a couple of seeds. So there's that one, and I have one more, and this is the red chard. So now I'm gonna get it covered up. I'm really excited because number one, I love salads. I'm excited because as we come along with our growing community garden, we're going to actually be giving the vegetables out to, I mean, if you are volunteering in the garden, you can get stuff. If you need vegetables, we'll give you stuff. I'm turning these around because there is a little bit of a lip on here that I'm trying to get toward the middle so that they fit better in here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour some water right into the middle, just so there's some water in there, so that if they need water, they've got it. They're sitting on the bottom. So there we go. So here we are. This is the beginning of our micro herbs. And I'll let you know, I'll take pictures and post pictures so that you can see how that's coming along. I'm gonna move that over to the side. because now what I want to do is I'm going to use this to plant some lettuce in, because I want to try this growing lettuce inside. I'm not growing lettuce that grows into a head. I'm growing leaf lettuces, because leaf lettuces, what's really great about the leaf lettuce is they will continue to grow. You just pick from the outside and they just continue to grow. So you don't have to pick the whole head of lettuce off. And I tell you, we've got a lot of seeds. We've got turnips, broccoli. This is some seeds, chamomile, savory summer. Here's a Bibb lettuce. Let's see, this is hyssop, bloodflower, chicory, sage, anise. That is green mustard, green wave mustard greens, black mustard. Here's some more anise, rue. Some of these are herbs for a biblical herb garden I'm going to work on. Here's a red salad bowl lettuce. There's cabbage and dill, Swiss chard, ruby red. Here's an early Jersey cabbage, squash. That's just an extra pack. There's okra, basil. Here's salad bowl lettuce. Here's a different kind of basil. Tomato, hot chili peppers, another kind of basil. Cherokee tomato, Cherokee purple tomato, great white tomatoes, yellow straight neck squash, eggplant, radish, another kind of radish. By the way, I love radishes. Some of you know that. Here's a butter crunch lettuce. Oh, I want to put that over there. Marjoram, cauliflower, cucumber. I think that's, oh no, here's some more seeds. Of course, we're not going to be able to grow them all at one time. Radishes. That one was a watermelon radish. If you all have not ever seen a watermelon radish, it's fascinating. It grows much larger and it looks like a small watermelon. And when you cut into it, it looks like that. And they're not as hot. This is cayenne peppers. There's some more okra. Then we've got carrots and only one bean. I thought I had more than one bean, but I guess I didn't. I've also from Callie Kim gotten her squash seed collection and her lettuce seed collection. Now, I'm not gonna do this one until I get my 1 gallon grow pots in. As soon as I have my 1 gallon grow pots, I'm going to be planting that. But I wanted to go ahead and get a little bit of a jump start. Now, I already have holes in the bottom of this, so all I need to do is just kind of fill it up. And you don't have to keep it this tall. I just did that because I thought it was kind of safer to cut with that inside the can and just around it than me trying to cut it and possibly cut myself. So that's why I did it like that. And I've got potting soil here. Now, one thing I have learned is do not use potting soil that you have used outside. Always start your indoor with potting soil that you've only used for indoor growing or new. And the reason why is because we can bring bugs and diseases, from the outside to the inside. Now let me get these put aside. So I'm going to put in, and you know, I just figured out I actually need just a little more soil there because it doesn't have to be planted super deep. So there's that. I'm going to just do a couple of seeds from, oh, that's more than a couple. So I'm just gonna put some of these right here. I don't know if I can get these back in the package. They are teeny tiny. I did not know lettuce seeds were this small. I'm gonna have to rip more off of the top just to, well, I say I'm gonna rip more off of the top, but I don't want to lose these seeds. I see I'm already dropping some, but let me get those back in there. I think it's a good thing that I did not wear the gloves. Fold that down and put it over here. So I've got those right over here. I think I'll make this hole a little bit larger to begin with. And I will get some of these lettuce seeds out. And I know I'm not marking what they are. And here's why. No matter what, I'm gonna eat it because it's lettuce. And I like a variety of lettuce in my salads, so I'm not too worried about what kind of lettuce it is. Although I know I'm breaking a rule already. I'm just now starting and I'm already breaking rules, right? I'm not meaning to break rules. You can actually create your own sticks to go in. You can cut apart. I always end up with a lot of containers from, oh, that one was kind of hard. This is the red salad bowl. I end up with a lot of containers from my love of large cottage cheese, and you can cut that and create your own little sticks to go in there so that you can write on them and you don't have to go buy stuff. So now I've got my 3 different lettuces in there. I'm just gonna get a little bit of this to put over it. It's maybe an inch. Maybe that's too much, I don't know. This is gonna be under a grow light so that they will grow. And now just to make sure that they get watered, because remember the soil is already wet and they will drink from the bottom up. I'm gonna put a little bit more water in here because the water has a lot longer to travel than in those little things. That's probably not enough. Let me go, I have a water jug right here. I was a little prepared for this. I'm just gonna pour a little more water in there, just so it'll start, and that's gonna be under a grow light. So far I have my indoor lettuce, and I have what's gonna be my microgreens, and I'm almost out of soil here, but I do want to do just a couple more things because we can grow some of our herbs inside. So I'm going to get another one of the white dish pans, and by the way, these are only like $1 something, and I'm sure if I had gone to the dollar store I could have gotten it for $1, but that was just convenient. So I want to grow some of our herbs. So I'm just gonna, my herbs are just, I didn't get them out and I should have. Here's some sage. I don't know about you, but I love to cook with sage. This is blood flower. This is actually a Cherokee herb. So I'm gonna pull that out because along with biblical herbs, I want to grow herbs that were used by the Cherokee. Let's see. I know that my herbs are in mostly these clear packages, so that makes it a little easier to find them. I say that, but now I'm not finding them. So I'm gonna look at these other packets. There's marjoram, cauliflower, Swiss chard, cucumber, dill. I like dill. I have the dill because I'm thinking if we get enough of the cucumbers, maybe we could make pickles out of them. Who knows? So it looks like I have an obsession with basil because there's quite a few basil in here. I think that's kind of funny that I have that many basil. But I think what I need to, oh, here we go. Here we go. I knew I had more than that. This is black mustard. Now, I'm growing this not for mustard greens, but for actually mustard for seasoning, so I might use that. There's also, here's one. This is from the biblical herb garden. I don't want to really do much with those yet. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna plant 2 different kinds of basil because I have quite a bit of that. So I have out basil, blood flower, sage. Oh, well, here's marjoram. I'll plant that. Here we go. But I don't have enough soil, so I need to put some more soil in here. So I'm gonna put more soil in. And you're probably thinking, I wonder what she's gonna grow in. I'm about to show you. I'm gonna pour some water over that. Mix that up really well. Hope I get it wet enough. It's flinging out all over the place, but that's okay. It cleans up. It's just dirt. It's just dirt. It's not been outside dirt, so, you know, it's potting soil. I mean, of course we know dirt comes from outside, but it's not been used outside, I should say. So I'm now going to use some of these cute little containers that I've got. I'm gonna see how these work. I'm supposed to be able to use them for indoors, and then if I plant something in it that's going to be planted outdoors, then it will work for that as well. And it looks like one little scoop is just about gonna be enough in each of these, maybe a little more. Because again, these are things that don't have to be very deep. And I know I can put more things in this than just 4, but actually I think what I'm gonna do is just start with 2 tonight. And I'll plant some more while I'm not filming, because good grief. I don't know how these folks do it that do this filming for gardening and Food Network stuff, and they continually talk the entire time. I kind of have to come up with things to say. But, you know, you would think that I would be great at gardening. My grandmother was just phenomenal. She could grow anything, and my mother could too. Let me tell you what my mother did one time. My mother took a cherry tomato and stuck it in a pot on my front porch that everything I had planted in there had died. And guess what happened? It grew. Now, it didn't survive because it wasn't, you know, done the right way, and she would forget to take care of it because of her dementia. But hey, she had fun doing it, so I guess that's all that matters, right? That she had fun and it gave her something to do, and it just proved that I did not get the gardening gene in the family. I don't know why. My grandmother would pull me outside and have me garden with her when we would be visiting in the summer, and it just didn't work. So I'm gonna sprinkle, this is sweet basil, and I'm just sprinkling some seeds in there. And I'm gonna find what I did with my marker. See, I've already lost my marker. There's no telling what I've done with it. Here it is. So I'm gonna put right here, sweet basil, SB, so I'll know. I'm just gonna put that over there. So there's my sweet basil. Next, I'm going to plant the blood flower. That's the Cherokee herb that I've been looking forward to growing. And again, some of these won't be in our garden for growing communities, or growing community. They will be in a separate place because it will be part of my biblical herb garden and my native herb garden. So there's that. Okay, so now I've got to write over here that this is blood flower. Blood flower. I can go in and add more later, but this is what I'm gonna do tonight. So there they are. Now I'm just gonna cover them with a little bit more soil. Just a little bit, just to get them covered. And again, these are gonna go under grow lights. So it's a little different than the microgreens. The microgreens don't have to go under the grow lights, but they're gonna be right there by it. So there they are. After I get done, I'll put some water in the bottom, and that way they will all get some water. But what we've got now is we've got some microgreens growing. We have 3 different kinds of lettuce growing, and I've got some herbs started, and I'll add to that. But one thing I want you to know is that once like the lettuce starts growing, I'll be able to bring that up to the church, and when people come through to pick up their breakfast on Tuesdays or their lunch on Thursdays, we will be able to hopefully give some lettuce out to folks. Now, somebody asked me, how is the church paying for all this? Well, let me tell you, so far, I am the only one who has made a monetary investment. So, you know, if you want to if you want to help us out with some of the work that we need done, you just need to call the church, 870-257-3869. If you want to make a donation to the church for some of the things that we're going to need, you can do that as well. You can contact the church to find out how. But that's the start. Today I have now planted. I'm going to put them on my kitchen counter with a grow light over them, and we're going to see how they start. And when it gets just a little bit warmer outside, they will be on this table, not the microgreens and the lettuce, but the herbs will be on this table out on my back porch with the grow lights over them. I'm looking forward to seeing what we do with Growing Community, our community garden project of Cherokee Village United Methodist Church in Cherokee Village, Arkansas. And I look forward to passing along updates to you as we do more and more. I'm going to walk around to the front. I want to tell you I love you. And a lot of you have already said, gosh, this is what she always says. I love you, but more importantly, God loves you. We'll see you next time. Bye.